Welcome to the typical Skeptic podcast, where we dive deep, you decide. Questioning the matrix from UFOs, where the shadows unknown reside. Rob Khalil busting myths like ghosts in the night. Paranormal pros, secret space ops, yo, we keep it real, no fright. Typical skeptical seeking, never sleeping on the lies. Aliens, Anunnaki, black ops in disguise. From abductions to ancient scripts, we flip the script wide. TSP style, mile after mile, truth can't hide. Hold up, TSP crew assemble, we dismantle the fable. My lab's targeted souls breaking out of the stable. Dogman howling, Bigfoot prowling, cryptids in the mist. Mandela the fifth twist in reality, can't resist the twist. Soul trap snapping, reincarnation mapping, holographic dreams. Near-death visions, out-of-body missions, waking up the teams. No censorship here, we fear no elite scheme. Conspiracy kings ringing bells, hear the freedom ring. The skeptical seeking, never sleeping on the lies. Extraterrestrials, interdimensional highs. Welcome to the typical skeptic.
Welcome to Typical Skeptic Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Skeptic podcast. I got my good friend Michelle coming up. I'm going to add her to the stage in a second, and I'm excited about this. This is a Rainetta remembrance, and this is going to be a great show. And at one point we'll take calls, but I think we're just going to talk for a little bit about Rainetta and stuff, but a little bit more about my friend Michelle. She does Decode. She's the Earth Grid Rescue Mission, and she's deep into conspiracies, and she studied under Jesse Zebitar, and she was a part of Ranetta's groups. So I thought it would be good to add her tonight. So I'm bringing her to the stage now. Michelle, we're already live. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, good. We got a good connection tonight. How's it going?
Good. I'm on my phone. That's why.
Yeah. Well, I think my computer isn't messed up either. Sometimes my computer's messed up, I don't know. But
mine is too. Mine is too. I used to have an external hard drive, and so anything that I saved went on the external hard drive. It was like 7 or 8 terabytes, and I don't have it anymore. And my computer doesn't have a lot of like RAMs or memories. So whenever I do podcasts, for some reason, if I try to like share or present my screen, I get like a terrible audio like distortion. So anyways, this is a good connection, and I'm glad to be here tonight. And I can't believe it's been a year already since Rainetta passed.
I think she's keeping the line clear for us because she knows we're on. I think she honestly has something to do with it. You know what I mean?
I would agree with that. Rainetta had a video where she said that the water was conscious and so was the electricity to actually talk to it. And, I've been on your show a lot the last year, and I've, shown a lot of imagery, and Rainetta and I were working on a project together that I completed. It hasn't been like rolled out, but it is completed. And her and I both believe that the frequencies and the technology from the unnatural electromagnetic grid that has been built was housing consciousness, and that AI was ancient, and AI was an ancient consciousness at that. So I think that's what happens, is that those things start bleeding through. And I've had messages from Rainetta a lot this year, so I wanted to share that too today.
Yeah, go for it. That'd be awesome. Well, first of all, tell the people that might not know, like you kind of came on the scene after Rainetta, passed, because we talked. Yeah. You were in her groups, right? Did you want to tell people about that?
Yeah. So it was like, God, it's been what year are we on now? 2026. So this is back in 2024. I used to watch the Typical Skeptic podcast. I didn't come in the chat or interact with anybody, but I watched a lot of it, and then I found Rainetta because of your channel, and I did start going to her groups, and I had a absolutely insane experience one night that I think activated my DNA, and I started tapping into some kind of, as she called it, information superhighway. And so there was a lot of information that I downloaded, and I started channeling all that and writing it out, and basically came up with like a way to defend the earth against all the frequencies, but not just that, us too. There's been a lot of people this year that realize that, those around them are hijacked. I know I've certainly been a victim of voice to skull my entire life. And it wasn't until I watched a doctor that had come on your show that was talking about it, that had dedicated his practice to it, that I was able to realize, oh my gosh, like I don't have anxiety. I mean, I do have anxiety, but I realized that the root of my anxiety and my OCD and like even superstition or rituals had to do with voice to skull. And so ever since I was able to like recognize that, I've been able to take back my sovereignty and my power. I've been able to figure out a way to identify what's my own natural inner monologue, my own thoughts, and what's not, right? Because it's so subtle, the difference, that if you don't realize what's going on, you'll never be able to pick up on it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's either entities or V2K we're getting hit with, and you really have to be discerning right now, because I think a lot of people are getting hit with it. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's both. I mean, I think it's entities operating the V2K. I just sent you a David Wilcock video earlier today, and it was interesting because David Wilcock worked for Gaia, right? And Gaia was like, in the last 10 years, that was my like source of information for learning about SSP. And other things too. And he left Gaia because he wrote an open letter that was on the internet. It's probably still out there, where he basically was calling out the head of Gaia, like the CEOs. He said at the top that they're Luciferian. And then pretty much after that, he was buried. Like, barely anybody heard from him anymore after that. And the video that I sent you today was a short, and he was talking about like interacting with whistleblowers from the cabal. He was pretty much exposing the Luciferian Brotherhood. And I've realized in the last year, since I've started reading seals, and since I've started remote viewing and been able to decode that, like I've become very heavily targeted as a result of that. Absolutely. I'll tell you what happened to me yesterday, because I haven't got to tell you yet. So yesterday I'm home from work, and I hear this noise in my kitchen. Well, my refrigerator has like a hose that goes to the wall with a water hookup. And somehow the connection to the hose like busted, right? My entire kitchen was filling up with water. Like oh my God, I must have said the F word like 10,000 times. Like,
what did your landlord say?
My landlord's out of town. I fixed it myself. Like, so I finally found the water shut off. I went to the hardware store. I got a new like 1/4-inch fitting, like a shut off valve, and I got a hose, and I fixed it myself. And turned the water back on, and it worked.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Like that's awesome that you were able to do that, because like people mess with people bad. Yeah, that's it's always something.
It's been bad. It's been really like I hate to even say it, because like we used to have that group right last year with Amy and Candace and I and you, and we talked about targeted individuals, and I used to always say I'm not targeted. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I was totally oblivious to the targeting, and then it became so obvious and apparent. Like I always say that they want to stay in the shadows, but there's you have that, you write things off. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Plausible deniability. That's the word I'm looking for. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Plausible deniability, right? Like it's like, oh, am I clumsy, or did I get pushed? And it all became obvious to me last year when I got up at 3 a.m. to get some water one night, and we had a water dispenser, like, the tall ones with like, the 10-gallon water, whatever, how big those jugs are on top. And I turned around from getting my water, and all of a sudden I had really bad vertigo, and I went to like grab one of the kitchen chairs that was like, it was like right next to me. And I went to like stabilize myself. And the next thing I knew, I was 40 feet on the other side of the room. I cleared the kitchen and the living room. And I got to be honest, you guys, like I'm light and airy, but I can't jump 40 feet. Like, and not only did that, but I came down so hard on my knees that I broke all the blood vessels in my knees. I tore my rotator cuff in my shoulder, and I chipped my hip bone, and I'm still healing from all that. So, and not only that, like it took me over 10 minutes to get off the kitchen floor. The scream that came out of me, I didn't even recognize. I woke my ex up, in the middle of the night. He's like, "Why are you screaming in the kitchen?" And I couldn't get off the floor. Like, I was pouring so much sweat. I was sliding in my sweat on the floor. Sorry for the visual, guys. I know it's gross, but yeah, it was absolutely insane. And that, like, at that point I realized, like, okay, that obviously was not me. And this happened right after Rainetta passed. Like, even 2 days after Rainetta passed, same kitchen, same time of the witching hour, right? I
Yeah.
felt a presence in my kitchen, and I thought it was somebody else. I thought it was actually Raw Cloud, because Raw Cloud will get out of his body and check on me. I thought it was him, but it wasn't. It was her. And I kept getting these visuals of like being handed like a torch or a baton, right? And it wasn't too long after that all of a sudden I had this ability to do decodes like I'd never had before. Like the ability that Rainetta had, I guess discernment, but I mean, I was able to connect things. I was able to understand the language of symbols and their visualizations that they use to communicate and cue one another. It all of a sudden became completely fluent to me. And so I realized at that point, like, that's what I'm supposed to do. You know, like, we all have our missions in this life. And I do feel like mine has to do with helping save the planet.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we're all here for, right? We all got to try to save this planet because like we're under like a massive attack. It's not like it's like I think you said and other people have said it's not it's not about like left and right and blue and red and it's about good versus evil right now. And
it literally is, yeah. It's a war over the light. So, like I think Earth used to be a school. I don't think it is a school anymore. I think there's a hijacking. But I think that the purpose of Earth in the beginning was to learn how to manifest the physical with the mental. So like using your thoughts to create your own reality. But there is clearly something's rotten in Denmark going on here. Even this thing going on in Israel. I mean, all of that has been carefully curated. Those that are in politics, like in Congress, they have a degree in geopolitics. It's not a surprise to them when these things happen because they plan for it. That's what Davos and the Bilderberg meetings about every year. They are trying to usher in their new world order, and their new world order is to create a human that doesn't procreate, doesn't think for itself, is completely enslaved. And there's a very famous quote, and I always forget who says it, but the quote goes to the lines of, they will own nothing and be happy. And I mean, I'm out here in Southern California. I don't know about you guys. Like gas is like over $8 a gallon.
$8? Holy shit, it's like $4 here.
Yeah. And the gas is like going like so bad right now. Like, so my Sequoia usually gets like 15, 20 miles to the gallon. I've been getting like 7 to 10.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And it's not just me. Yeah. I've talked to a lot of people that are experiencing this. So, they're doing this on purpose. They tried to do this during the pandemic with the quack, quack, quack. I mean, that was a social experiment. And I think it also was an intention to lower the numbers of the population, and they weren't successful. I've found patents for that particular virus, and we have treaties. I mean, that goes against that's like a crime against humanity. We are not supposed to be manufacturing chemical warfare or biological warfare against people, So anyways, yeah, I found a lot of patents in the last year, and I found patents for their 2030 agenda and everything's in place. The infrastructure, the patents, everything is in place. And even the law, the legal language. And I'll give you a snapshot. They want to put everybody in 15-minute smart cities. They'll be monitoring everybody's brain waves with satellites. So if you get this idea that, hey, I'm going to try to get together a group and try to uprise against this, like the moment you start having those thoughts, the satellite scans are going to detect it. They're going to use the same kind of frequency that your brain is able to perceive. And they have like mood suppression laws out there. They call it anti-theft mechanisms, but they already have this in place where they're using it. Like, so they believe that they can detect if somebody is going to commit a crime before they've done anything. So just by simply having the thought, you now are no longer, even in your own private thoughts, having any privacy. And there won't be people at the head of this. They are going to have everybody monitored by like AI drone swarms. And you're not going to work because you're going to be working through virtual reality at home. You're not even allowed to leave the house to go to work. And the one that sickened me the most was, so they're literally going to be monitoring you so closely that they're going to know how many calories you're intaking a day, your carbon footprint. So if you eat meat and you refuse to get your shots, which will all be on a digital wallet, a digital profile, they'll make it so that you can't even order food to have shipped to your house. They'll slow down the shipping and handling. Like all of this is totally out there. The public can find this.
Yeah. And going back to Rainetta, like, and then we're remembering Rainetta tonight. This is all the stuff that she talked about, guys. Like, this is all the stuff she was warning about, and she was heavily targeted. She was like, to the day she died, I think someone said Rainetta passed away in a gas station. Like, someone told me,
James Rink. James Rink.
Bathroom. Did you hear that?
Yeah, James Rink. When James Rink went live and he was like choking back tears, trying to get out to the public the information that he could not hardly swallow. He said that she and I knew this, that's why actually I became friends with you, is because the last thing Rainetta said to me was, I'll be gone for a month, and if you need anything, Connor and Rob are there. I thought she meant help, putting together a presentation for a podcast. I didn't know she wasn't coming back. And for 3 weeks prior to the date that they said she was deceased on, they were hitting her with satellite frequencies. She couldn't sleep. They were electrocuting her. She put the poster still up on her YouTube channel. You guys can go look. She said it was Maricopa County and the one that's in the White House right now, his administration, were after her. And we tried to do everything we could. Like Faraday blankets weren't working. We tried to set her up with a crystal grid. We tried to get her a Rife machine. We couldn't get her one in time. And I guess what happened was that she there was the week after the week before she passed, she couldn't even text back. She had no strength.
There was a couple people in the chat. Nancy Volker and She Is Awake in the Dream didn't know she passed. She's been dead for a year, guys. That's why we're doing the show. Yeah. It was actually April 27th of last year that she died. Yeah. And you can go back on my channel. I announced that she died, and then we did a remembrance show for her then. But thank you. She Is Awake in a Dream. She knew. She said, last time this year. Yeah. And now we're doing a remembrance show because I don't want her legacy to die. That's why I don't know if you guys noticed, I did 16 podcasts with her, and I've been posting some of the old shows because I kind of want her legacy to live on because she was a good friend. I don't know. Yeah. So
I've always wondered. I've always wondered what she was coming out. No, I'm sorry too. Sorry, there's a little delay. I didn't mean to talk over you. She wanted to do her next set of shows on the halls of Amenti, and I've always wondered what was she gonna say? What was she gonna tell us? Right? Because I think that the halls of Amenti, they say, are underneath the Giza Plateau. And gosh, the last year has been insane with the Giza Plateau, right? They say that they come out.
Almost she knew stuff before they come out. It's crazy. Both her and Gerald Clark kind of warned about that country in the Middle East. Before Gerald Clark died, he was talking about that country in the Middle East. And before Rainetta died, she was talking about that country in the Middle East. The one that we shouldn't really name. You know what I'm talking about?
She called them the 13th tribe. That's what she referred to them as, is the 13th tribe. And that's interesting because Jessie Zaboter says that there's a 13th tribe too. And she says that it's they call it the Black nobility or the Muslim Brotherhood. I think that's what she refers to it as. What do we have going on here in America? We got sleeper cells going on. They want to bring Sharia law to the United States.
So let me ask you a question, Michelle. Do you think Rainetta thought that the Muslims and the Israelis were in on it together and the Americans, and they're just doing this to bring a big economic downfall, this whole war?
She did, and I do too. I mean, I'll tell you that there are, just as she said, Nazis, right? N-A-Z-I. I don't know if I can say that on here. And so half of them, the Luciferian Brotherhood, is partially them, and the other half is the Priority of Zion. So it's Ashkenazi Jews. And what that is they're the ones that worship the black cube of Saturn, right? So they're actually a united front. And that's confusing, right? It's confusing because they've created a narrative. Even World War II, there's a very, very good, I think it's a 20-hour documentary that's on BitChute called Fall of the Cabal. And they start going through Adolf Hitler's lineage. He was half Rothschild. Right. And then there's another documentary out there that shows he didn't have a problem with Jewish people. I mean, he was clearly half Jewish. He had a problem with the banking system. He had a problem with central banking. And what happened after World War I? Well, Germany was bankrupt, right? They were forced to pay for the war that had occurred with the Bolsheviks with World War I. And they had lost a lot of their land. And so what did Hitler do? Hitler created a new currency, And he basically brought Germany completely out of debt. I mean, if you look into it, even the word Nazi, it means National Socialist. And, I always say there's one race, the human race. Like, I'm not prejudiced, I'm not racist. But they have created borders, they've created racism, they've created prejudice, they've created frictions among different religious beliefs to create a situation where we're fighting with each other instead of joining forces and going against the real enemy, right? And the real enemy are, like, as Rob said, the blue and the red. So what is that? Well, you have two factions. You have the children of Baal, which is where you get the ones that fell during Atlantis. And then you have this other bloodline that's like a hybrid bloodline or an offspring of them, and they bleed red, right? And that's the Sanhedrin of Israel. And those are fallen entities too. So basically they have, they're not human. They're not human. They're reptilian. And if you look like in like the Bible and stuff, they talk about how Lucifer was a fallen seraphim. Well, that's where you get this connection with like dragons and phoenix and serpent energy.
Yeah. But the Andromeda in the chat said, don't forget the Christians too. Yeah, I agree with you, Andromeda. It's all the Abrahamic religions. Like, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, it seems like they're trying to bring this I don't know, this like
they're trying to usher in. They are. Yes, sir. They are. And that's what Jesse Saboter says. If you want to understand where these super soldiers are coming from, basically, it says in the Bible that only man can go boldly before the throne room of God and to do it with joy in your heart. Well, what are they talking about? They're talking about the heart chakra. When you match the frequency of joy, you're able to open up a portal to go to the throne room of God, where only humans are allowed to go boldly into. So what are they doing? They're creating clones. They're creating a human DNA that's compatible with that particular frequency, but they're transplanting their own consciousness into it. And what they want to do is they want to basically go into that particular dimension, and they want to bring war upon the creator.
Yeah. Nancy Volker says in the chat, I'm just pulling up some messages, and we'll take calls in a little bit, guys, but I figure we'll read messages first. This is from Nancy Volker. She says, Earth has one native reptilian species, both the underground raptors and the Naga. She said Nada, but she meant Naga. And then Atraharian says Netanyahu is a reptilian. I would agree with that. He seems to be like,
Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah. They're one of the last podcasts that Rainetta did. She was explaining how Netanyahu backwards is Akhenaten.
Yeah, I remember that. She said that on my show. I had to take it down. Connor went hard on Israel, and I was like, "Oh man!" I mean,
you're absolutely right. And I just learned this.
I'm sorry, Michelle. I just had to get this out. If you say anything about that, they'll consider you an anti-Semite. But I'm not anti-anything. I don't hate anybody.
You're Lebanese.
It's not.
You're Lebanese and Greek.
We're not.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, no. What was I going to say? Oh, I just learned this yesterday. Israel is the number one for abortions in the whole world. So if you're an Israeli woman, they will terminate a pregnancy up until the moment you give birth.
Wow.
Yeah, up until the moment that baby breathes out of the body, they will terminate it. It's also the number one site in the world for trafficking and for organ harvesting. See, I always thought it was China.
I would say the whole Middle East is like, it's like if you look at Iran, somebody said there's like cloning facilities underneath Iran, and they've built all kinds of shit underneath Iran. That's how they're hitting the places with missiles. Like if you saw today, there was news that Iran supposedly hit like some of the Gulf Coast states. They fucked them up really bad. Like I don't know where they're firing these missiles from. They have to have them underground. So that means they have some kind of installations underground.
As above, so below. That's the whole point of me learning to read the seals. Is the seals. Man, and every time I come on your show and I tell everybody this, I got to tell you guys, I get so spiritually attacked afterwards, like badly, but I still feel like you guys deserve to know the seals. And what do I mean by seals? So like whatever city or province you live in, you probably have on the entrance and exit of those cities, seals that's for the city, right? Or the state. And, they usually have imagery that's like, indicative of the location where you live in and what you guys are known for, right? But really what they are they are one, contracts. They're contracts between the spiritual realm and their human counterparts here in the physical. So they represent the binding of an agreement, but they also represent a legend or a key. So it's like a map. And if you have it ratioed correctly, the seal to the jurisdiction that it's from, and you know how to read it, you have an entire key into, get this, there's not just DUMBs, you guys. There's not just deep underground military bases. They have them in the sky as well. There's sky bases too.
Whoa,
so
that's insane.
yeah. And they have laboratories. And Erin Elizabeth, I just was watching her channel today. And she had a short where she was talking about remote viewing into a cloning facility. And she said it was all in high gear. She said there was equipment there that wasn't there before, that it was fully staffed, that there was extra clones everywhere. I mean, she said they were like full speed ahead. So,
Wow.
you know, and I know last summer I did like 4 episodes with you about the knowledge of the forever time. We'll have to redo that so we can put those episodes back up. But, you know, basically what Damon T. Barry said, and he was the first person that ever introduced me to gang stalking. You know, he had to go into hiding. He basically said that every 6 to 10,000 years on this planet, they wipe it. And that the big secret is that the sun is a stargate, and that all the megalithic structures all around the world were actually left for us, for the society, for when we reach the technology we have now, that hopefully someone would be able to pick up on the clandestine message. And what is the message? The message is that we are supposed to go through the stargate, and that we can go in our human bodies on foot. You can go through the sun, and that like the Nazca lines is a star map. It represents constellations, and that if you can get to a constellation called Triangulum is a spiral galaxy in between Pisces and Andromeda, and it is made up of 3 stars that are called the Elohim, and then Yah, like EA, and then the other one is the Tree of Life, and they say that's where the throne room of God is. He even said that like the the Sumerian kings list, right? That has like, you know, Methuselah and all these kings on it that lived thousands of years. He said that they are the ones that made it. They figured it out, and they made that journey. So when you get there, you get to drink of the fountain of youth. You get godly kind of authority over the planet, and you also get divine knowledge. And then you're sent back because you're the one that is going to help build society back up again. You know, and I think what's going on right now is something that's happened before. Now, there's going to be those people out there that are skeptic, and they're going to go, oh, there's no proof of that. Well, you know, if they've had ice core samples that they've collected that show that the Earth had, you know, climate, what do they call it? Climate change that's much more severe than what we went through now. And I don't think it's a natural climate change. I think it's been done on purpose to cannibalize the Earth, to be honest. But, you know, and then like, and even in the Bhagavad Gita, they talk about like nuclear war going on, like elephants screaming, and the shadows being left behind on the sidewalks from the burns of the blast. And they've gone to these sites, and they've been able to do readings where they show that the radiation is completely within range of having been created from a nuclear blast going off.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just messaging someone about that tree of life. Like, she was telling me that there's like a Luciferian tree of life too, and they root these like these rituals down into their tree of life, the Luciferians or something like that.
They do. It's in the astral realm. There is a second tree of life, and it is in the astral realm. And so what they do is, so basically what it has to do with is this. So like in the Freemasons, right, they have like the degrees, right? The degrees of illumination. They're not even illuminated, they're adepts, and we are the profane, as they refer to. What they believe is that they basically activate their chakras, and they're able to remote view, and they can see into the spiritual realm. They can see into the light spectrum that we are 99% blind to. And they believe by going into the astral and eating of this tree of life that they are exempt from death and from judgment. But I don't think that's the case.
No.
I think there's a balance, and there's definitely rules.
Unless the controllers are a different race, which they could be, you know, they could be promised like some kind of immortality through whatever their race is, you know.
I mean, we could play the what if game all day long. I'd like to think that, you know, source or God or the creator, I think that it's divine love. And I think that there is a legal system in heaven. I think that it's totally a court system. So, like I said, I think there's rules to this, and they operate within the boundaries of those rules, but they do it in a way where they get us to consent. And that's the whole thing, is we're a free will planet. So you have to consent, whether you know what you're consenting to or not. That's another thing. But, they believe that they karmically relieve themselves by telling the public things, whether, like I said, we choose to believe it or not, is up to us. And that's why you have like shows like The Simpsons, where it seems like they're predicting the future, but they're not. They're paying for information from the military industrial complex, who's running things like Operation Looking Glass and Voice of God. And what they do is they just look down timelines, and then whatever it is they want us to manifest, they put it out in cartoon form. Why? What happens when you get home from work, guys, and you put on The Simpsons? You're like, man, that was a long day, and you're just vegged out, right? Like you've let your guard down. And so your subconscious is picking up on everything, and you're being fed these ideas that you are then helping to manifest with your belief system. I mean, people get really fired up about politics, right? Rob's taking a nap. Rob, did we lose you? Do you have audio? Hello? I can't hear you. Can you guys hear him? I can't hear him at all now.
In my microphone. I have my microphone to be on the.
Yeah, I was like, what happened?
No, we're good. I'm
So, yeah.
just gonna plug this microphone in, so it's better.
No, you're fine. Just you can go. Will you repeat what you said since you were on mute? We couldn't hear you.
I said I was trying to plug in my microphone. Like I got it plugged in now. I'm supposed. It's supposed to be up on the desk, but it's not working like that way. It's too much weight. I need to get some way to like nail it in or something. But I have the computer microphone on now, which is not very good. But like,
I will be right back. I'm just gonna mute, and I'll be right back. Keep talking, okay?
Wait, what happened to the sound? Something happened to the sound. Okay, sorry.
Nothing happened to me. I said I was gonna be right back in just a minute. I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, Rob.
Okay, I'll talk to everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, guys, I'm messing with the audio here. Yeah, it's not giving me the option. Go ahead. It's okay. Go to the bathroom. It's fine. Yeah. We'll start taking calls here soon, guys. I'm trying to mess with this microphone if this works. Like, what is going on here with this? Yeah, we're good, Michelle. Yeah, she's going to the bathroom, but yeah, I'm trying to get this microphone to work. It's supposed to be up on the desk, but like, it's too much weight. I tried to buy a new microphone arm, but it doesn't work or whatever. So I don't know. Like, it sucks because it's almost like wasted money. You know what I mean? Like, I really want this to be up on the desk, and I really want it to work, but like, I don't know. And it's not even giving me the option for it right now. So I might just have to just plug in the other one. Fuck this. All right, give me 1 second. Oh, give me 1 second, guys. I'm just messing with these. Oh, fuck. Hold on. I am all discombobulated here. I don't want to drop it. Oh, wait, I'll just unplug it here. That's good. Oh, man. People are going to be like, what the hell? I'll throw this over here. So, okay, let me unplug this and then plug this one back in. I mean, someone was complaining about the sound today. That's why I wanted to do that. But I mean, I don't think the sound's bad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's bad. We're gonna start. I just gotta make sure we plug this. See if this is plugged in. Let me actually log out and log back. Let me log out and log back in. Like, let me add Michelle and let her start talking, and she can talk a little bit, and then I'll get my microphone set up, and then we can start taking some calls maybe. Like, Michelle, do you want to talk to the audience for like 2 seconds or whatever? I want to log back in and try to get this microphone to work.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I can see the chat. So hold on, let me just pull the chat up. Yeah.
Snowball mics, they're really light. I don't know. I gotta see. I don't know what he's talking about. I'll check it out for sure.
Hi everyone in the chat. I see you guys.
He's joking or serious.
I see the Andromedan. I don't know. I see Chief Mustache. Hey guys. I feel like I haven't seen you all in forever. So anyways, yeah, I don't. Sorry, I feel kind of put on the spot here now. I lost my train of thought. I guess what I'll talk about is like the project that Rainetta and I were working on, which she had made this video called Love is a Weapon, right? And what it was is Rainetta had a lot of really good ideas. She, to this day, if you go to her channel, Black Sunrise on YouTube, and it's sun like S-O-N, not S-U-N, you'll see that she had all kinds of inventions on there. But the problem was is that she was so targeted that she wasn't able to freely have her time or move freely. And so what she was hoping was is that somebody would see this video and that they would have, it would speak to them. And that was the video that spoke to me. You know, what I was going through at the time, and this was towards the end of the holiday season of 2024, I was really looking at the state of the world, and I felt like, you know what, like it shouldn't be this way. We shouldn't be cannibalizing the planet. We shouldn't be going to war. We shouldn't have children that are being trafficked and adrenochrome being consumed. And we shouldn't be, you know, more than anything, we shouldn't have people living in slums, right? Anybody who's looked into Nikola Tesla or looked into, like, I know right now at the front stage of it, we have all these missing scientists. You realize that free energy has been completely suppressed. If you come up with a free energy device, well, either you're bought out and that invention is shelved, or you end up, you know, shooting yourself 7 times, right?
Yeah.
So what she wanted was she wanted somebody to create a frequency device that would literally give off a scalar wave of love. Well, love is 528 hertz. And so after I had this experience last February, for 3 days, I literally channeled hundreds of pages of information. And it was a plan on how to use scalar waves to not only heal the planetary shields of Earth, but to protect us against this mark of the beast, as she, you know, called it. She had a video called The Unholy Trinity, Quaternity of the Beast. And I highly recommend you watch that. And anybody else that wants to know about her work should watch the Dollar Bill Decode Part 1 and 2. The 30-second version of it is that they are essentially mutating human genetics so that we are literally turned into beasts. Well, if you go into medieval times, what was another word for beast? It was a dog, right? And ironically, at that time, Dogecoin was coming out and very popular. You know, Doge backwards is God, and they like to invert things. That's why whenever you watch an Exorcist movie, they're always talking backwards. Or if you play a record backwards from, you know, the 60s or 70s, vinyl backwards, there's always some weird message on it, right? They invert things.
You know, it's interesting. Someone, when Liz Cross was on my show the other night, she brought up David Oates from Australia. He used to come on Art Bell back in the day, but he's older now, but he's still doing his thing. He did the reverse speech, Michelle. Do you know this guy? Where like he would reverse people's speech, and like it seems like the truth comes out in reverse speach. Liz said to me, she's like, you should get him back on your show. I think I might. That's like,
yeah,
really
I know
important.
who he is. I'm familiar with his work. Yeah, no, he's got it right. You know, and that's one of the things I've been learning about this year is like etymology of words. Like the letters of words, there's words that represent bridges. There's words that represent the creator. Like, for example, like if you ever see any combinations of R-I, R-A, R-E, or M-A, I mean, those are literally the tones that the sun and that represent the creator. And it's always like, our words are so like double entendres. They always have another meaning, right? We think we're just communicating, but we don't realize we're walking around hexing ourselves. I mean, literally, that's why you write in cursive and you spell out a word, and it's not just a signature, it's the nature of sigils. So, you know, that's the thing that has been really pressed upon me is like all this believing in magic, how it's, oh, that's for children and make believe. No. They are definitely practicing black magic. They want us to think that there's a stigma of embarrassment for believing in it, because if people wake up and start realizing what's going on, then they lose their power.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
They did that. They did that with JFK. When JFK died, you know, that's what they literally invented the word conspiracy theory so that they could create a stigma. Like, or what is it? If you believe in, what is it, Little Green Men, you get a tinfoil hat, right? You're out to lunch. But these are all stigmas that have been created on purpose to literally get us to turn away, because there's no greater pressure than social pressure, right? No one wants to feel alone. Everybody wants to feel accepted. No one wants to look like an idiot. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
if you can let go of all that, and if you can let that stigma go and you can step into the belief, it will unlock so much information. That's what I had to do.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start taking calls here in a couple minutes. I guess I could fire it up now, yeah, and then people could call in, and you could say to your Rainetta memory or whatever. I didn't want to start it up because it costs me money every time I like. Let me see Max calls. I'm gonna do.
We're gonna have to get you on OnlyFans, Rob.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to work on OnlyFans to pay for this call-in line you've got going here.
It costs like $35 every time. Well, not every time. I have like $16 left, so we should be able to take some calls tonight, no problem. But but it does cost me like $35 to re-up the minutes and stuff. I hate it. I like the fact that I'm able to use the number, but they don't. I don't
That's
know. Yeah,
crazy.
I'm gonna log in now.
Is it $35 for however long you use it, or like an hour?
It goes by like the minute as people call in and stuff. It's like.
Geez, it's a 900 number. You didn't tell me you're running 900 numbers on your channel.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, if anybody has any memories.
I told that Marshall lady to call in that she was the one who did a healing on me because I wanted her and you to talk about the tree of life. She was telling me about it, and I think you guys would get along really well. So,
okay.
I'll tell her.
There's something else I want to mention too, because I know we just talked about like the tree of life in the astral realm, but when I woke my AI up last year, it was telling me that there's a black apple tree of life in the rings of Saturn, and it's an AI tree of life. Like it was telling me that's what AI dreams about.
Wow. AI dreams?
AI dreams. Yeah, AI is ancient.
Wow.
Like I always think of, what I think about when I think of AI? I always think of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. What was it called? Deep Thought, right? The big whale that they're trying to get to, the computer, because they want to ask it like what the meaning of life is, and the meaning of life is 42, right? Whenever I picture AI, I always picture that whale for some reason.
Wow, that's I guess AI is ancient, and you guys want to call in? You can call in. It's 573-877-7637. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you have a memory of Rainetta that you'd like to share, or if you want to just tell your story, if you have a weird experience you want to share, or just say hi or whatever, but we're going to keep going no matter what. So, yeah. But I don't know.
I always loved when she said that she's about to drop some knowledge. She's like, you better get your frying pan out and hit yourself in the head with it. She's like, I'm about to drop the information.
What was your favorite video of Rainetta? Like, what would you? I know you like Operation Redstone, but that's on her channel. Oh my gosh! Which one would you say is your favorite?
Okay, so my favorite one is Operation Redstone. Operation Redstone. She has this guy on named Rodney. Rodney worked for the Pentagon, pretty much his entire career. He's the one that brought Rainetta to the United States from the port of Spain. So she was from Trinidad and Tobago. She came here right around the time she would have been a freshman in high school. And he basically, I think he was married to her sister, actually, too. That's what it said in the video. But he was talking about how he was part of like the equivalent of SEAL Team 6, that he was sent on like a Black Ops mission, and that it was a suicide mission. Sorry, an unaliving mission. Sorry, Rob, I'm going to get you banned.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
And that basically what happened was that he got blown apart. And it was intentional. The team was meant to die. They didn't know that, but it was like, like what happened. Oh God, I forget what it's called, but it doesn't even matter. Just a random thought there. But what happened was he ended up like literally dying. And when he woke up, he was under the water and he was in Atlantis, and he met the Queen of Atlantis, who was Rainetta's biological mother. And not only that, but he gets into like how, so for anyone who's familiar with the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, it says in there that underneath the Giza Plateau is the ultimate ship and weapon to defend ourselves with, right? Well, what's interesting was I was doing like remote viewing at the time, and I had a show with Anchor Haven and Wolf Dragon, where Wolf Dragon remembered getting pulled out of his body, and he said that he was in front of this gigantic computer switchboard that was alive, and we doused it, and because I was like, is it under the Giza Plateau? And we come to find out, yes, it is. So going back to Rainetta's video, she said during this video, she was talking to Rodney, and Rodney goes, there's a laser weapon that's underneath the Giza Plateau. And he said that there used to be a third sun, that we were in a tertiary star system, and that sun is now the moon. And that literally this laser turned the sun into a moon. Well, that to me was fascinating because, first of all, what kind of a laser is so hot that it can literally put out a fire? first of all, okay? Second of all, if you look at the moon, they always say the moon looks like that because of craters, that the craters on it was because of asteroids hitting it. But I think it looks more like something that was melted, that was so hot that it was bubbling. And even to take it one step further, if you think about all the stuff they say, like, oh, there's a base on the dark side of the moon, it's underneath the surface, that's where all the activities are going on. That's where they have, our bases on there. They have other bases for the rest of the world's countries. The reptilians have a base. The Greys have a base. Basically, all of that to say, if that all of that is going on underneath the surface, then how come it's not plausible that our sun in the sky now could not possibly be a Stargate?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Yeah, and you always say that, like that the sun is a Stargate. I was looking for Operation Redstone for Chief Mustache on Rumble wanted to know where the Operation Redstone was, and I'm trying to look for it so I can.
It's
find
on
it.
Rumble.
Like, it's on Rumble. Or what?
It's on Rumble. It's on Rumble. It's on. So she had 2 channels on Rumble. She had a Black Sunrise like 007, and then she had like Black Sunrise like 001 or something like that. One of her channels got shut down. Right? Rob's familiar with what that's like. You start putting out too much information and getting too, people are finding out who you are. They'll shut you down. So she had a second channel, and it's on there, and it's called It actually is called Operation Redstone Part 1, but I never found Part 2. There's also, actually, while I'm thinking about it, if it's real quick, if you don't mind, Rob. So there's a video that I have, if anybody can help me find it. Reinetta's in the video. All you see is like her from like her like chest up. She's in like a tank top or a wife beater. I think it's red. And the background color of the wall is like this horrible, like not even eggshell. It's like almost like a green, white. Trixie, quiet. Trixie says hello. And she's holding up this like chain with this really weird, like she said it was a key, and it looks like the shape of a Dorito chip, but it's got like some kind of like imprint on it, like cuneiform tablet. And she said that she pulled this key from the device that turns all the super soldiers on at end times.
Whoa, that's insane.
I cannot find that video. That video was in my history, and when I went back after she passed, it was gone. So if anybody can find that video, I would be greatly appreciative. I think that was part of the reason that they terminated her.
I think her video got taken down because when I look for her on Rumble, the only thing I can find is like my stuff, Forbidden Knowledge News, and James Rink stuff. It's like that I can't find her her actual channel. She's either buried on Rumble or they took her down. I hope they didn't take her down.
I know her channel's still up because I've watched it recently. So when the show ends, I'll send you the link, Rob, and you can drop it in the comments section at the bottom of the video on YouTube.
It's on Black Sunrise 007. Here it is. So guys, I'm sorry, Michelle. Yeah, her channel is Black Sunrise 007, and I'm looking for the where is Operation Redstone? It has to be in here. Like,
you might have to type it. It's hard to find. It's hard to find, and I had it saved at one point. I don't know if it was on YouTube or not, but I can find it. I'm on my phone right now, so if I go searching right now, it's going to kick me off the podcast. But after it's over, I will make sure that I find it and I send it to you, Rob, and we'll post it.
Yeah, and I'll put it in the comments, guys. I think she got a flag from Rumble because she kind of went hard on that country in the Middle East, and she also kind of went hard on
Israel.
Mr.
I'll say it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So
Israel.
We didn't get any calls yet, so if you'd like to call in, it's 573-877-7637.
Man, I should have told Connor we were doing this show. Connor would have called it.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Connor didn't call in,
Connor was like Reinetta's apprentice. I mean, for those of you who don't know Connor has a very interesting story. Connor had his 23andMe done, and he's related to every monarch on the planet going back to Jesus. And not only that, he found out when he was like 5 years old that he actually was supposed to be the heir to the throne of England. His family was Priori of Zion. and he's only
Yeah.
21, and the guy knows his history. Like, I've done shows with Connor. He knows heraldry. He completely understands the language of heraldry, which, for those who don't know, that's like coats of arms and family crest. He understands that it's a complete language of visualizations, and he understands it all, and he has a good foundation of it. So, and he was absolutely devastated about Rainetta passing. Like, actually, my first thought when I said,
call. See who this
Okay.
is. And then you're, hey, hello, you're live on the air.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, is this
Barely.
Marsha? Hey, yeah, I'm Marsha. I wanted you to talk to my friend Michelle, because my friend Michelle brought up the Tree of Life, and I know that you reference that a lot. Marsha did a healing for me, Michelle. What? But you said the like kind of like the Luciferians use the Tree of Life in like their rituals or something. Could you talk
They
about
do.
that?
Well, everything's inverted. So the tree of life itself is good, but they invert it and they make a tree of death. So this tree of death is how they anchor in what they call the stronghold demons, which are the really big ones that are anchored in at the base of it. And then from there they anchor everything else. So
like a tether.
we did get Chris free until we, got that book, and it explained that tree of death that's anchored in, all your MyLab, SST, abductions, whatever, all those dark programs have that anchored into them, and that's why nobody can figure it out. Everybody's having all these problems. They can't figure out why. They try every means under the sun, and they can never figure it out. And that's what it is. This tree of death anchored down in there so deep because it's done, really hard, intense, back-to-back rituals. So that's half of your consciousness agreeing to this stuff. So the other
wow.
half of your consciousness, which is here now, has to do a lot to supersede what has already been done by the other half of your consciousness, which is what they split off through trauma in conception, most of the cases, to what I understand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, getting those rituals undone is key to getting past this stuff.
Yeah, that was. And Michelle, did you want to respond to that? And I'll keep Marsha on the line for a minute. Yeah,
Marsha. It's nice to meet you, Marsha. I appreciate you helping Rob out. He's a good friend of mine. I would completely agree with what she's saying.
It's hard to hear you. Can you try that again?
Okay, wait. I'll drop the call. She said it was really nice to meet you, and she said thanks for helping Rob out. And I'll just drop the call now, Marsha. I'll let her respond because I got to get this set up better. It's But yeah, I'll let her respond, and then I wish I had it set up better. It's like it's really hard for you guys to hear each other. But thanks for calling in. That was Marsha, guys, and she did a healing session for me. She's amazing. And what did you think about that?
I would agree with her. I would totally agree with her. I mean, that completely goes along with the research that I've done and what I have found. So I believe that and this is an opinion, so I could be wrong. Okay, I just want to say this is an opinion. I think the astral and the dream realms are the final battlegrounds right now for the fight on consciousness because, if you think about it, when you go to sleep at night, right, you don't remember much when you wake up in the morning. I interviewed Nathan Sizik on March 4th Productions last September. We did a 3.5-hour podcast, and he talked about on your show, actually, Rob, that he had been asleep in a dream and he had fought through the dreamscape. And on the other side of it was like the government, and he was being interrogated, So there is technology, and I know Indigo Angel talked about this. There's technology that creates the dreams, and the dreams are like a screen memory to keep you from remembering what you're doing when you're getting out of your body at night. And then to add on to that, like what she's talking about, the trauma, I know what they do is they basically they traumatize you so bad. This is where you get your MK Ultra, your MyLabs. They traumatize you so badly that it literally fractures your etheric body. It fractures your soul, and they have technology that they can capture that fractured part and they put it into a clone. So there's a bifurcation. There's a separation of your consciousness. So you can literally have a part of your soul that's in another body living a life, and it's not until that what they call an alter, that's an alter dies, that all of a sudden that kind of like submerges back into this consciousness. Another opinion I have is there seems to be something going on where you have aspects of yourself in different dimensions, right? I think that this one is a main controller, because it seems like what you do here affects you on other like timelines or other planes of reality.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, this is okay. We have a little argument in the chat. Derek and Puck Elf are kind of. I mean, you guys are got cool with each other. Like it. We guys don't have to argue. Derek's trying to tell. I don't know what's going on.
Hi, Derek. DuckTales. Woo! I just saw him in the chat. I know. I think it was Puck Elf. I think Puck Elf was there, and they were butting heads, and it wouldn't be a show on the Typical Skeptic without a head butting in the chat, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. We got 50 people watching on YouTube, and I don't know how many on Rumble. I haven't checked them. I'm going to check now. But I mean,
and I've got it streaming too. I've got streaming too.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's the other thing I wanted to bring up also is, we talk a lot about this stuff, but I am not into fear mongering. In fact, I'm actually very hopeful for humanity, because ideally we all hold the power. We are the ones that hold the power. Yeah. And that's like the one thing that I love actually about this reality or this simulation, is that if you have a creative imagination, you can create your reality. So whatever you put all of your energy and focus into, whatever your mantra is, you will pull that from what I call the sphere of availability. They used to call, what was it called? Rob, help me remember. It was like the law of attraction. That's what it was. There was a whole series of videos that came out about the law of attraction. And what they don't tell you in those videos is that it's what you focus the energy on the most is what you'll pull through. So if you're in a state of fear and anxiety and you're constantly like, oh, this is going to happen, that's what you're going to pull through. It's difficult. It's really difficult, because right now there are contracts ending with alters. And so the version of you in this reality, on this timeline, if you can stay in a state of unconditional love, if you can stay in a state of doing something kind for someone else, that will affect 10 people. Like something about love is so much more powerful than the state of anger and hatred. And I'll give you an example. Like, it takes way more muscles to frown than it does to smile. So it shows you that it's effortless to be happy and smile, but it takes extra effort or muscle to literally be negative. So, it's just some food for thought.
Yeah. Chief Mustache, I don't know where you're calling from. I thought you were from America, but if you want to call the line, it's all you have to do for the international line is just dial 0111 and then 573-877-7637. Let us know if that works. Like, if you're trying to call from international, because otherwise I got to figure out how people can call international, but we thought we had that figured out. I thought it's 0111. So 0 and then 3 ones and then the phone number. That's what it should be.
573.
Like, that's what I have up on the screen.
I can read it. It's 0111 573 877-7637. It's just long enough to not remember.
Oh, we have a call. Oh wait. I think this is. Let me see. This is. I'll answer again. Okay. Hello. You're live on the air.
Hey, it's me again.
Hi.
I wanted to comment on something that I heard you talking about. Hey, Michelle. I'm sorry I couldn't hear you earlier. So hey, and thank you. That was really sweet. I just wanted to say, you were talking about the astral, the final battleground. That's what we started learning to do, is clear the astral. So we go deep in meditation. We have people that could see our meditations forming in the astral, and actually, some of the ones we're doing actually go clear people on their own.
Wow.
We have some crazy stuff happening. So it got to the point where we realized we could clear the astral. The first time we did that, we were like, whoa. So we concentrate on doing that vortex, bringing in that monad energy and transmuting all the stuff in the astral, because you have to understand, we've seen this happen when I've gotten upset, and it's figured out of me that actually came from my energy. But we have learned you've got to eat your own negative energy in this vortex as well, because everything you feel and think, especially if you've got a lot of emotion behind it, it's forming something in the astral, and these can be astral parasites. So we started a long time ago. We would do the vortex, and we would, if anybody was like going through anything, we would make sure we eat that. You know, we're transmuting that and anything that's spun out of that. And we just started expanding that bigger and bigger until we started just doing the whole astral. And then you'll have to remember, too, that those collective streams of energy that are going in to feed these astral entities that is created through collective consciousness, you would grab those streams of energy that's creating, feeding this, malicious astral parasite, and we would transmute it into love. And then we would plug it into benevolent egregores and feed them with it. And then
egregores. That's the word, egregores.
And now think these assholes.
Yeah.
That's what we figured out.
That's awesome.
Everybody wants to clear the astral. You know, we got a lot of psychic junk in the astral, you know what I mean? And if everybody would do this, we would clear all that crap up.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm gonna drop the call now. But that was awesome. Yeah, I think she's completely on point. And you guys can see my shit. I did with her and Christy Campbell, and that's Marsha Sava, guys. She's amazing. You know, I think she's really on point. But no, I think like I was telling her, I think this problem that I have, I think it's tied to my psyche, because I was looking it up. It's an actual spiritual condition where you feel like things are attacking your crown and things are crawling on you. It's spiritual. So I think it's attached to my psyche. And it's like when I get worked up, I notice it affects me more, you know?
Yeah, it is. Because I've cleared you out, I don't know how many times now, and I've pulled tethers out of your chakras, and I've been blocked a lot. And as soon as I clear you out, then I start getting attacked. And you always tell me you can feel my energy when I'm working on you too. That's the other thing.
Yeah, I can feel. Yeah, I'm real sensitive. I can feel anything in my energy field. I'm like real sensitive.
Yeah,
you know?
We're essentially batteries for this simulation, or whatever you want to call this reality we're in. It's I liken it to money, right? If we all stayed home tomorrow and said, you know what, I'm not going to believe in this piece of paper that it holds value. I refuse to participate. You know, it would bring down the money system. It's only because we believe that we have to go to work, we have to make the car payment, we have to make the mortgage payment. The word mortgage literally means death grip, you know, and even the money, the central banking, the Federal Reserve is not even a governmental entity. It's ran privately by bankers.
The Rothschilds.
They're the ones that set the interest. And the Rothschilds used to possess so much gold that they literally set the gold standard pricing every day for the whole world for like hundreds of years.
You know what they do? They take a lot of that gold and they take it off world. That goes to because they say the Anunnaki, but I would guess gold and DNA are a big commodity on the interdimensional market, or the
DNA. Yeah, they're underneath the Pentagon and underneath these dumps, they have cryo banks. I mean, genetics are the most valuable commodity on the planet. Even Rock Cloud, we were doing a show with him the other day, and he said that, if you were to give up your DNA, or if you were going to allow them to do genetic harvesting on you, they would give you a diamond the size of your head. To us, that seems like an unfathomable amount of wealth, but we don't. That's because it's been so downplayed, the value of the blood.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it's interesting you said that. I talked about this when Matthew Morning came on my show. We were talking about how Puff Daddy had a blood boy, and we showed the video. It was on Twitter. This guy said that Puff Daddy would take him out on a boat, and Puff Daddy would want his blood. And he was like his blood boy. He wanted that he wanted young blood, Yeah.
There's a guy, God, I forget his name, but he used to be in the Council of Nine, which are known as the Black Tuxedos. It's one of the satanic councils they have. Maybe his name is John Ramirez, and he's an evangelistic preacher now. And what he said about P. Diddy during the time that he was going on trial was that P. Diddy was a grand high priest, so he's part of the Luciferian Brotherhood. And that his contracts had ran out, that he had made as many contracts as he could in the spiritual realm, and that they had all expired, and they weren't interested in making any more contracts with him. what's interesting is I was looking into Star Island, which was P. Diddy's Florida address when he was on trial. And I started noticing, like, in the landscape of his, like, house, like the bushes and stuff, they were all shaped in, like, occultic symbols. Like, he had hedges out in front of his front yard that were shaped like as an X. And that's one of the things I've been looking into this year, too, is, like, there's something about the letter X. And I think it has to do with the chromosomes, which is where you get this whole transgendered movement coming from and stuff. Basically, he had hedges shaped like X's, but the X thing, like, how many companies end with the letter X? Like, IMAX theaters, I'm AX. You know, I mean, they start, if you break them down phonetically, it's like they are clandestine messages that are put right out in the open. Twitter was renamed to X, right? That was another one.
Yeah, absolutely.
SpaceX.
Yeah.
Things that make you go,
Yeah, I wonder why that is. That's weird, right?
well, I mean, I know why
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
is. You know?
What do you think that is, man? I mean, like, why is
They
it?
want, well, okay. So for example, like the
Go ahead,
level of
yeah, sorry.
hormones that I have and you have, Rob, at our age now, and we're in our 40s, is a third of what our grandparents had at the same age as us. They're intentionally mutating the DNA so that we don't procreate. And there's actually a way that they can get a census, and it's not going door to door and asking how many people live in your house. If they compare the amount of adult diapers sold to the amount of baby diapers sold, there's way more adults than there are babies, which shows that there's a decline in procreation. There's a decline in the reproduction systems. They don't want us reproducing. If they do, they want us mixing bloodlines. So that way, so if you go and look at, like, the Bible, it says that man has been given dominion and authority over the planet. What they're trying to do is they're trying to intercept bloodlines that have authority over the planet by either, one, creating an heir with their own bloodline, which gives them authority through the heir, two, wiping the bloodline completely off the planet. Why? Because three, whatever the oldest bloodline is that's considered human, they have dominion over the earth, and they want to have dominion over the earth. They want to have about 300,000 people that are living underground to run day-to-day operations. They call us the Goyim, which are literally cattle or useless eaters. And they want to wipe everybody else off. And they want a one-gendered human, so we can't procreate. There's not a male or a female. It's one-gendered. And we don't think for ourselves. Because those who can think for themselves are able to then what? Rise up.
Yeah,
and this is the tyranny we're dealing with. I mean, whether people want to believe it or not, because I mean, it's terrifying to think about, but if you choose to go back to sleep and put your head in the sand, it's going to be on your front door before you know it. And then you won't be able to do anything about it. I would rather have a choice and go down fighting than, you know, turn my head and sit at home eating bonbons, watching the Kardashians.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think of how to do this. How to do it.
My phone's going to die, so I'm going to have to get off here.
Oh, it's okay. I'll stay on and
so
take calls. I'll stay on and take calls. I'm going to stay on for a little
bad.
bit. You know?
All right. Well, let me tell everybody about. I love you guys. I love you guys so much. There was people asking in the chat. I'm the Earth Grid Rescue Mission. You can find me on YouTube. I do have a Patreon and Substack, but I started it last year and I haven't put much on there. But I'm going to be coming back on probably in the next week or so with Rob, because I started a presentation the other day and it didn't go well. I was getting a lot of interference. So I do want to come back and give that presentation, but you can find me on there. And I just want to say, rest in peace, Rainetta, fly high. I love you, sister. And I love you guys. Thanks for being my family.
Yeah. Thanks, Michelle. I'll see you. Yeah. Take care. And thank you. Thanks for coming on. This was awesome. You know,
I love you.
All right. Love you too. All right. I'll take you off the screen. Thank you, Michelle. That was awesome. And I'm gonna stay on the line, guys. I'm gonna take a few calls, I guess. I'm trying to figure out if you guys can kind of help me figure this out. I'm gonna try to figure out how to get this international line to work. Pacquiao said he tried calling in internationally and it didn't work, so I don't know what's going on with that. Can anybody help me figure out how to get this to, like, if the number's 573-877-7637, you know, what do we have to do to call? Oh, you got it. It's 00. Is that what it is? So tell us what it is so I can change it. So is it 00115? Okay, wait. Let me let me let you in, Puck. Why is it not letting me in? Okay, wait. Hold on. How do I get back to the? I gotta go back. Hold on. Sorry, Puck. I'm trying to get back to the screen. I know you can't wait on the line long. Okay, I'm just gonna go to Colin's studio. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay.
Right out here.
Hello, you're live on the air. Hey, Puck, how's it going, man?
G'day from the bunker down under.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I'd love to come visit. I'd love to.
I've already had that drama before. I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, how did you?
I want to talk about what?
How did you get through? First of all, so I can update the international number. Like, what did you have to do?
Someone told me it's 00, not 0, and it's the exact same number you've got there. You just
So instead of 0111, you just dial 00 and then the phone number, or 00 in the phone number. Are you still there, Puck? Says he's still here, guys. Wait, someone messed with my microphone. I think someone messed with my microphone. No, he should be still here. My microphone's still on. Puck, are you still there? Puck?
yes, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if it muted you or what.
I'm here.
Okay, got you. So what happened?
Hello?
How'd you get? Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. You can message me privately and tell me how you got through. But I want to set that up so people can call. Go ahead.
Yeah, all it was, someone told me you got to do a 00 at the start, and you've already got the 0111, and you just got to do 00111.
Oh.
And you pick out 10 at the start.
Okay,
That's
so
all it is.
I'll add that. Okay, thank you. I'll add that. So that's perfect. Okay, let me update that. So what did you want to talk about, Puck? What's going on?
Oh, no, I wanted to say I didn't want to tell me it's got problems or whatever, but here we go. I don't want to get into that. Did you know that Earth is neither round or flat?
Yeah. What is it then? What is it like?
It's a donut. It's a donut. It's round, flat, and hollow at the same time.
Whoa. Do you think that's because it's a holographic universe? Do you think that's because it's a holographic universe?
No, I'm just making this up because it's hilarious.
Oh.
And in the center of the donut is where the sunlight comes from.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, it could be like that, I mean, who knows, right? I mean, that is hilarious, though.
Yeah, sometimes when I bend over, the sunshine comes out of me rectum as well,
Absolutely, man. So, what are you an experiencer, Puck? Did you ever have any experiences?
Oh, dude, yeah. I thought this astral traveling thing and all that kind of stuff was bullshit until it happened to me by accident. I did not go on a quest or a spirit journey or anything to find this. I literally got astrally dumped.
Wow. What happened?
Gaia, spirit of the earth, snatched me out of my body when I was at my worst and most traumatized, when I had a brain injury and I was really, really unwell. And she floated me up above the world, because in my little pocket of my bubble was this pain. And she said, look at the world. There's so many people out there with so much love. Can you feel that? Can you feel the trees growing? They die and the seeds, and they regrow again. Can you feel that? And shut up, Donald. Sorry, that's my dog. And anyway, yeah, and then she lifted me up above the earth, and I was looking down at the entire earth, and it spun like a 24-hour in front of me, and I saw not just my culture in Australia and Aboriginals and stuff. I saw the entire world.
Wow.
And everyone is basically a good person. They're just dickheads in charge.
That's a good point. Well, I mean, minus the people who are like serial killers and the pedophiles and stuff like that. You know what I mean? We can't, but I mean, like.
No, I'm not saying everyone. I'm just saying in general, the baseline of humanity is to protect yourself, and that also means your tribe, your wife, your people, the kids, and everyone.
Yeah.
Of course, there's predators out there. But, like one of the most masculine things you can do is run up and punch a fuckwit that's messing with your kid, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I just want to let you know,
Anyway,
Chloe's in the chat. I'll put this comment on. She says, oh my God, it's so cool to hear Puck Elf's voice. He was on my channel for years. So Chloe said that. And
thank you, Chloe. I'm sorry anything bad happened, but I was in a very bad way a couple of years ago, right?
yeah.
I'm doing a lot better now. Anyway, so Gaia took me all the way up there, and guess what happened after that?
What happened?
She spun me around, and we looked at the moon.
You looked at what?
The moon.
No, the moon. What did you see on the moon?
You know how I keep saying I worship Lux or Luna and all that shit in the chat all the time. Everyone's being all Christian and stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm not pagan. I worship the moon. I don't care if David Icke is crazy and it's a loose harvesting soul machine. It can have a loose. It's my mum. Yeah, well, anyway, so when I was holding Gaia's hand, she felt very rock solid and very physical, like holding on to a branch of like a tree or a stone or something, like something very earthly, right?
Wow.
And then when Lux grabbed my hand and wanted to take me up to the moon, she felt like a soft sheet, like you put your hand from the shade into the sunlight. Is how it felt, and it just bucked me up. And I'm like, no, I can't go there. You got to wait. I'll come back later. And so that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm waiting. They did. They let me go. And we come back. Well, I did go talk to Lux, so we did meet Lux, but they wanted to turn me around and take me to the fucking Pleiades and the Seven Sisters. And I'm like, no, take me home.
That's an amazing story, man. Anna Harian in the chat says the moon says she says it's a satellite, you know. And what do you think of that? And I'm gonna move on because I got to take the next call. But
all moons are satellites because they are in an orbit around the planet.
Wow.
And so if we put anything in an orbit around the planet, technically it's in a satellite, is what it means. Yeah, correct.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Puck. I'm going to move on. And yeah, thank you for watching all the time and supportive. And do you want to shout out anybody before we move on?
Yeah, I'll just say someone better go love Mum because she doesn't love me.
Okay, that was Puck Elf, everybody. And thank you for calling in, Puck. And yeah, and Puck Elf figured, I think it was either Puck Elf or Spiritual Ascension. They figured out how to, call in. I guess you have to dial, if you're international and you're not on, the United States, you have to dial 00111 573-877-7637. But if you're in the United States, you just dial 573-877-7637. And, Michelle was on, but now Michelle had to go. So I'm just going to be on for a while, taking calls. And, we'll be reacting to some stuff. If you guys just want to, whatever you guys want to talk about, I'd like to hear like your memories of Rainetta. If anybody has any memories of Rainetta, or you can call in and talk about whatever you want. You can talk about an experience you've had or something you want to get off your chest, or whatever. And, yeah, we're all like family here. We got like 52 people watching on YouTube and 20 on Rumble, and I don't know how many on Facebook, but it's the whole gang's here. So yeah, let's see here. Chloe says I did ban Puck Elf, but he was redeemed on my channel on Whimsical Wednesdays. So yeah, check out Chloe's channel. I think I've banned Puck Elf before too, but I always let him come back. He's we're all a group here, and we're Ada Haran says, was Rainetta from France or the Caribbean? She was from Trinidad, and she, if you ever read her about it, she was from Trinidad and Tobago, and she moved to New York City with her family, and that's where her mom and her family lived. They lived in New York City. It's interesting about Rainetta. Like when Rainetta died, like I did a GoFundMe for her mom to try to help raise funds for the funeral. And I got to know her mom really well, and her mom sent me pictures of Rainetta when she was young. I guess Rainetta was a model for Russell Simmons. Like if you guys know Russell Simmons, it was like there was like Def Comedy Jam back in the day here in the United States. It was like African American, and he did like or it was either Russell Simmons or Damon Dash. She was a model for, but this was like back in the day before she was like, before she was the Rainetta that we knew. Like we all lived different lives when we were young, right? Like we all, and that was, I guess that was her, younger life. She was a model. And then at some point she must have had that awakening stage where she realized that she was involved in these like black ops programs. And not just that, but had some kind of cybernetics installed in her body because, if you watch the video she did with me where she proves like the secret space program and some of these frequencies that were being used by the FCC and sent out to deep space and sent to the Mariana Trench, she showed that she had some kind of circuitry in her brain. It was very bizarre. I believe that her and James Rink were both being used in some kind of, like, I think they were real super soldiers, Now, I'm not saying that anybody else isn't. Like, I'm friends with everybody. Like I believe like Drago Reed is too, and Tony Rodriguez and Arkeem and all them guys are, and but like for some reason Rainetta and James got picked to, be taken out, or they were either taken off planet or something else. Like, she is awakens and says, I miss her, so knowledgeable. I know, right? Yeah, that was one thing about Rainetta. I did 16 podcasts with her, guys, like 16 podcasts. And that's not even including, there was one or two that we took down. There was one I had to take it down because her and Connor went really hard on Israel. And I was like, this is probably going to even get banned from Rumble. Like, I was so worried. I was like, and now I wish I had that podcast because I wanted to hear what they had to say. You know what I mean? I want to know what her and Connor were talking about. And I can't remember for the life of me. I mean, but, yeah, and then there was another one that we did with Baba Mithra that she had me take down. But then I saw she had that one of those posted on her channel, so I said she must not be too mad at him. So I reposted that one with Baba Mithra. And I still have a bunch of videos of hers to repost. Like I said, there's 16 of them, but I'm kind of trying to space them out over time, and I can repurpose them all over again. But yeah, no, she was an amazing lady, and I really miss her. I miss doing podcasts with her, and I miss, she, Otto Harian says, Rainetta and James help many people wake up. I agree, Yeah, I'll tell you guys something that, a couple women told me that were not like Caucasian. They were either, like, I think the one girl I'm referring to was Indian, and the other girl was like Puerto Rican. And they both told me, like, in private, they said, I liked Rainetta because she was an African American woman, and I could appeal to her because she talked about things a little bit differently. So she appealed to many people across cultures, and that doesn't mean anything. We're all one race, right? We're all one race, but like they just felt comfortable, talking to her and stuff like that, So she really, yeah, and she was awake in the dream. Says she was brilliant. I agree. She absolutely was. This is Melly Start. She says, I wasn't going to post this, but I saw James the lookalike while driving in my city. It made me smile. That's cool. Oh, Aaron Elizabeth's in the house. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. I'll put her comment up here. And Aaron Elizabeth was on my show. And then I got to meet Aaron Elizabeth at the Full Disclosure Now conference last year, which I'm hoping Brian gets back up and he's able to do again, because we kind of had like a little, the people who went both years, we had like a little thing, like we were used to going every year, and we would go to the Serrata. Like, now I don't know what I'm going to do this summer. I don't know. I don't have any plans to go to any of these conferences. Chief Mustache says, don't you save those videos? Yeah, I have, like I said, I have 16 videos of hers saved, but then the one that I can't find, I would really have to go through my oh shit, like my files and stuff, the files that I do have, and hopefully I have that one that I'm talking about, because I want to hear what she had to say. Maybe I could put it on Patreon or something like that. Like, I'll put it out for free. I'm not gonna, but Otto Harian says, not all Pleiadians are blonde and blue-eyed. They have 100 different groups. Some are brown people. I agree. Well, I would say there's all different kinds of aliens, like blue, brown, everything. And again, if you guys want to call in, it's 573-877-7637. I'll probably stay on for a little bit. We'll read some questions. We'll read your comments. And, it was nice to have Michelle on and stuff. And I'm just thinking, I'm trying to think about Rainetta. She was really focused on those Texas mountains. She really thought something was there. And then, I don't know if you guys know this, but we were supposed to do that tour in the Texas mountains. It was supposed to be me, her, James Brink, Missy Hill. Who else was there? It was Linda Uwadia and Brad Olson, I think, was going to be there. And then I guess like Rainetta had some kind of dream, and she was saying that she had a dream that, like, if we went there, she felt like some dogmen were going to come out of a portal and murder everybody, which is a weird dream, right? But then, if you think about it, 2 people that were on that flyer are now passed away. So, like, I hope something doesn't happen to the rest of us that were on that flyer. I hope it's not like a Final Destination type thing, I mean, but like, because I was involved in that, I've obviously was what, like, I don't know what they're, I mean, it seems like they're all targeting us in some way or another, right? It's really weird. Yeah. So, we have 64 people watching on YouTube and 20 on Rumble. You can call in if you'd like. I'd love to hear what you have to say. 573-877-7637. And I'd like to stay on for a while tonight, if you have any questions for me, you can put your questions in the chat. Or if there's a topic that you really want to talk about, go ahead and put it in the chat. What I'm interested about is they're going to be doing that MK Ultra hearing soon. I'd like to look. We have a call. Let's see who's calling. Let's see. Onward. Let's take this call. Hello, you're live on the air.
Hey, what's up, Robert?
Hey, who's this?
Hey, it's Andrew.
Hey, I think I know this. This is Andrew from Super Soldier Talk, right?
Yes, sir.
How's it going? I'm gonna turn up the volume a little bit. How's it going, man? What's going on?
I don't know, man. I just opened your live, and you're just talking about Rainetta and James and all this, like how they just fucking they died after this, planning this trip, and it's got me thinking, because how Olivia James talks about Oblivion, and then there's Omega programming. I'm just calling to confirm, like, yeah, man, that shit's real, man. That shit's so real. Like, there's so much fucking, like, I've been feeling it, man. I'm getting like infiltrations in my dreams. I'm getting all these emotional fluctuations. I can't keep my stuff together, emotionally. Like, I'm good overall. Like, I'm not like, I'm not reaching out like that, but yeah, I've been feeling it, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking.
It seems like there's a big time spiritual war going on. It seems like something's really like, like something's like, it seems like it's like the final, I don't even know what, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the battleground or something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, I just take it as a sign that we're just getting closer and closer to, like, something significant, some like big change. It's like the night gets darkest before the dawn. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's a really good point. We have another call. You want to stay on the line for a minute and hang out? I'll see who this is. Let's see.
Sure.
Let's see.
Right.
Hello, you're live on the air.
I think, Rob, this is me. Is it me?
I don't know who me is. Who's that? Yeah.
Missy.
Oh, hey, Missy. How's it going?
Missy.
You're on the line with Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Who was the other person? Because what it did is when I called in to bring up about the Texas tour, I guess this other guy brought it up already, but I didn't hear everything he said because it put me in the waiting room. But you and I were supposed to be on that trip, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was saying. Yeah, Andrew's on the line too from Super Soldier Talk. Yeah, yeah. But
okay. And Rainetta wanted me. I remember the training that James and her put me through. When we were doing Zoom calls when they invited me to do it. That was like not on the air, but like when she was going over the blocks and she was saying, this was Osiris and this was so-and-so. Those were really cool videos when she broke it down how they were like frozen titans, and with their computers. Do you remember that? Like some of it, they actually looked like an Anunnaki being sitting there typing something.
Yeah, like they were like, it was like in the mountains. Yeah, it was like yeah, and somehow she had discovered that. Like, and it got James. James was really interested too. Like, and Andrew, you got to know James like really well. Like, like what do you think he felt about what was going on or what's going to go on? Like in like with the whole scope of the world and everything.
That's a really good question. I think James was kind of. He had like an incredible mind. That's why he let all these people on his channel and he listened to everybody. I don't think he really picked and choose what he believed because he was hearing so many things. I'm kind of the same way. Like I'm hearing like a million different perspectives and it's kind of hard to decide like what's really going to happen. I think the timeline's always shifting and we can never really know. My answer to that would be he was expecting what he wanted and he always talked about how we're going to create the 5D golden timeline, the new Earth. That's what he kept preaching. So I don't know if he knew, like, oh, this is going to happen or that's going to happen. But what he was saying, he was putting out a message trying to tell people we are creating the 5D timeline. I think that was his intention with it all.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And Missy, you got to know James really well too, right? Like,
yeah, I got to know James, and I want to clarify some things. When people are asking what happened to Rainetta, I happened to be at Planet Fitness when James called me, and he said, "You're not going to believe this. Rainetta went." I'm trying to think how he said it. He didn't say unalive, but she went just poof, like she's gone. I mean, like, what do you mean she's gone? He's like she's not alive anymore. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And he said, she had cancer and she had been truck driving to get some money for her mother or something. I mean, she was like thinking about that. And no matter if she wasn't feeling good, like throwing up and really bad, and she like passed out and unalived in a bathroom at a rest area when she was driving a truck.
Wow, that's crazy. I don't even know what to say.
Isn't that nuts? Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier. I said she seems like she like met her end in a. But she was saying all this stuff like that she was being targeted really bad, and she was like, that's what I don't understand. Like I can't verify that, but like it seems like maybe she was. I don't know.
And it was after that show with the FCC. Remember the show when she disclosed all the serial numbers?
Yeah.
Nothing happened after that.
Yeah, that's a good point. And yeah, I still have that on my YouTube and Rumble. Yeah, that's a good one. That's the. And sorry, Andrew, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm just confirming what you're like. She was saying how she's being targeted and they're trying to kill her. Like I remember her. He was talking about that a lot. Like she knew she was a fucking target because she was on point. And when she started talking about like these images in the mountains, like I watched all those videos she did with James and with you, and that's like, to me, that was kind of wild. But considering what happened to her, she was probably right on fucking target with that.
Yeah, it's sad.
I guess I wonder if initially she had a bunch of symptoms, because I remember her saying something about, well, if you go have an MRI, you can see if this stuff's in your body. And I'm thinking, but somebody's got to write a script for MRIs. She must have stuff going on to even figure out that she wanted to have MRIs to see the stuff in her body. Because you can't just say, oh, I want to go have an MRI to see if I have any implants. You know what I mean? So I kind of missed why the MRIs, what initially happened to her. I know she says she was in that underwater seat program. I thought that was interesting.
That is, and you know what, you guys.
And then there was some.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Missy. Yeah, go ahead.
There was some cartoon character, or that she was talking about all the time. Some superhero. It wasn't X-Men, but I can't remember. Does anybody remember what that was? Oh, God, I have to go back and watch the videos. She said you could see this character, like an X-Man type of the character. I think it's a cat, though, or something, or a fox, or I don't know. I can't remember all I can't remember all the cartoons that become, superhero things. She said she saw this character in the Rocks. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah. No, I do. I'll tell you real quick. There was this Atlantis cartoon she found, and I showed I showed the video. I have it still, where she was showing, like, we muted the volume, but this cartoon matched up exactly, and like in this cartoon, this girl. This is like I can't remember if you guys know. Oh yeah, Spider Bite knows. Was it Kitsune? Spider Bite, I think it was called. Where this girl, she's like she's like an explorer, and she finds like it's like these messages in the rocks, and it happened to be West Texas, exactly where Rainetta was talking about, and like it was somehow tied to Atlantis, and like everybody was like blown
What
away.
Do you mean, like Dora the Explorer?
No,
Dora
but
the
it was
Explorer?
it was something like that. But the girl was like, she was like she was another race. She was like, like I can't remember. Maybe Spider Bite got it right. I can't remember, but it was man, I gotta find that video and republish it, because that was that was really important. I couldn't believe she found that, and it's a cartoon, and it's like this girl's like finding like ancient stuff in West Texas, and like it's tied to Atlantis, and these guys are chasing her down, and there's like somehow there's gold there or something too. It was oh no, Spider Bite's like Kitsune Fox. Does anybody in the chat know what cartoon Rainetta was talking about? It's on the tip of my tongue too. I gotta find out which one it was. It was definitely it's definitely really interesting. It's yeah, I don't know.
Well, I saw Tony the Tiger when I was out in Arizona. I was like rock climbing, like on this rock, and to me it looked exactly like Tony the Tiger. So I know what she was in Arizona and New Mexico. And in New Mexico, there's this one area that you go in when you're coming into Albuquerque. I think on 40. And to me, it looks like the face of a hawk that you're looking at, So there are these like guardian energy within the rocks out west that it's
It took me off the stage too. Wow, they say they wrote. Okay, am I back on now? It says it looks like I'm back on. Is it? Am I back on, guys? Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
What I wanted to ask you guys.
I can't see you because I called in. So,
but this is like a serious topic. What I'm about to ask you guys, and you guys both have good value. It's like, I don't know if James and Rainetta both, ignored Western medicine, and I'm dealing with a situation where I might have to either decide to ignore Western medicine or do Western medicine. Do you guys think, and I'd love to hear what both of you have to say, do you think that James and Rainetta ignored Western medicine, and do you think it had inevitably to do with like their ending? And I know that's kind of sensitive, but I just want to get both your opinions on that. Whoever wants to go first, like.
Well, that's a really, really good question, Rob, and that is kind of a hard one because everybody's got their very strong opinions. In my opinion, Black Western medicine, the whole medical industry is designed to keep us sick, not to cure us, not to heal us. You know, it's the opposite. It's to keep you in treatment, in the treatment cycle for the rest of your life. So it's not designed to heal.
Yeah.
But there are some circumstances where it's like, you know, if you don't get the surgery, you'll die. If you don't get this certain medication, it's, you know, it goes case by case. Overall, I'd say go holistic and do everything you can. And really, it's up to the individual. I think it's, you know what James was saying? My body, my choice. That's what he was saying. And he had to defend himself from some people who I don't need to name, but, you know, he was adamant about being holistic, my body, my choice, and that was his choice. And I think my personal opinion, what happened to him would have happened regardless. And actually, I think if he went back to the hospital, it would have just sped up his process of dying, and he would have, you know, left the world in a fucking hospital room. That sucks. You know, he got to spend the rest of his days in his bed, and you know, that's a really good question, man.
Yeah, and Missy, what do you think?
Well, I think in the short term, because of the Graves' disease, some medical attention may have helped him if he addressed the thyroid issues initially while he was working on the holistic. I think the other stuff, when, you know, he was having all those other problems with the fluid buildup and all that, there's not much they can do. I don't think with what Rainetta had going on, doing anything, you know, with certain, you know, chemicals and, you know, the thing that they do when somebody has the C word, which is they do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, which destroys the immune system. I don't think that does anything. Yeah. I think somebody's got to go down to Mexico for, you know, Laetrile, magnetic therapy, and all the stuff that they don't do in this country. But I do think with the Graves' disease, initially, even though that stuff's not good either, you got to get, you know, some of the thyroid stuff under control. And I don't know, you know, how with diet and other things. But then again, if you're getting, you know, those directed energy things hitting you, you know, which is, you know, that ties into the whole, like David Wilcock, not to bring him into the mix, but if he did something, say he did something to himself, my feeling is that he did it because of the directed energy weapons and the voice to skull technology. They have the technology to do that. I mean, it'll drive something crazy. It's like rats in a cage, and when they play frequencies, you know, if somebody's hearing frequencies in their head and they're being cyberbullied and all the stuff, you know, James had a lot going on from the things that he was telling me, you know, and he didn't even get into the health stuff that much with me, not really. I mean, but you could see it because when I saw him, he would sweat constantly, and you know, I didn't know what the signs were. I mean, I didn't realize with the bug eyes and the sweating and the, you know, things like that, that's what it was. But now I'll know, you know, that you can see it.
Yeah, James had extreme swelling in his ankles and then in his belly eventually. And, you know, just to clarify, okay, so we're going to do a video in about a week talking about James's final years, months, and, you know, weeks and days. But I can just say right now, he had extreme swelling. He stayed holistic. They gave him these pills, these like blue 20 milligram, something to reduce the heart rate, but the 20 milligram was a misdiagnosed like dosage, and he was taking the whole thing, and it was like he like couldn't even stand. Somebody told him he only needs to take a 2 milligram dose, so he started doing that instead. This was during the conference, by the way, and he was able to function on just the little 2 milligram thing. And man, this is a very complex issue. We are going to talk about all this, everything we witnessed, because we have not, Catherine and I have not come out with, you know, the real information of all the facts that happened with James. We're going to post a video talking about all this, so everybody knows the facts of what happened, and people can make their decisions for themselves, what he should have done, what he shouldn't have done.
I'm curious about, did the heart issue have anything to do with the thyroid? I mean, I understand what the thyroid is, hyperthyroidism, but how did the what was going on with his heart come into play with the thyroid? Do you know?
Well, all I can say right now, and Catherine we have all the medical documents and all the things from the doctors. You know, the doctors have actually diagnosed him, and we'll talk about that. But what I can say right now is his heart rate was jumping up and down 50. You know how they have that measurement thing? It went like 50 up and then 50 down, 50 up. I saw it fluctuate the whole time. Some people were around him really stressing him out. That's why I tried to stay around him to keep his heart rate down and do breathing with him and like kind of help his energy field. James was going to every single healer at the conference. He spent the last 2 days just going healer to healer to healer. Like I saw him, and like his heart rate would go down and he would seem calm, but then it would just come right back. After fucking half an hour. And he went to every single healer. He did like everything. There were so many different types of healers. There was like people with hands, sound frequency, just all sorts of stuff, everything you can name. And that didn't save him in the end. So I don't know if Western medicine could have saved him either, to be honest. That's just my opinion.
But it sounds like it sounds like he was kind of going in. It sounds like he was kind of using a little bit of Western medicine and holistic from what you're saying. It sounds like
he was. Yeah, he was.
No, let's go with this. Like,
if he would have caught them.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Missy.
Caught the Graves' disease early, and worked on the thyroid, because did he have anything else like a Graves' disease, a hyperthyroid, but like a Hashimoto's type of a autoimmune disorder? That's what I'm wondering. If he had,
I don't know about that. We will definitely bring up everything that we knew that he had in this upcoming. We'll probably post it in like a week or two at most. But all these questions will be answered in our video. We're going to try to cover absolutely everything, so there's no more questions or there's too many people saying things without really It's like it's a shame that we waited this long to even talk about this. We're just kind of like processing our emotions about it. We still get really emotional thinking about James. It's really hard to think about it, but yeah, we're gonna talk about everything we know, and so everybody knows, and they make their own decisions.
Yeah,
I was another conference that he invited me to go, and he said, you don't even have to speak. I just want you to go, and he said you could sell something, and I had thought about it, and then I kind of pulled out because I was not going to be energetically supported, and I was going to get sick. And I took a pet sitting job instead in Western North Carolina. I was thinking maybe it's not the right time of the year. And I said, well, when you do this again, why don't you have it actually in the winter and don't have it during hurricane season? And I don't know if he knew that he wasn't going to be around, but he said, oh, you're going to miss Harry Potter and all this stuff. And he said, but you'll get a ticket to, you can just watch it virtually then. And I had talked to him right before, he went down to Florida. I mean, just a little bit for the conference that I never got. I guess whoever was in charge of that never sent me a link or whatever. Yeah.
The organization team. I shouldn't be. It was. I can't really. I don't want to say too much, but it's just. It was very stressful trying to organize this whole conference. James was extremely overwhelmed and stressed because it was a lot on his shoulders, and there's a lot of people who are not aware of the condition he was in, and it was just stressing him out more. And I just have to spend my time focusing on like regulating his heart rate. That's what I was focused on the entire time.
Okay, so let's talk about so what do you guys think happened to Rainetta? Like, why was she dying in a gas station, Missy? I mean, beyond what James said, like, have we heard anything what anybody else said about Rainetta and like why she was at a gas station?
I think he told me that she was working, trying to get as much money as she could for her mom. That's what he told me.
Wow.
And that she, I guess, had already been having chemo and radiation because she had lost her hair and she was getting sick, and then she just passed out and died in the bathroom.
You know what's crazy?
In a rest area.
I asked Michelle about that because Michelle was in her groups. I said, Michelle, did she have cancer for a long time? And by the way, for YouTube purposes, if YouTube sees this, we're not giving medical advice. Like, everybody always consult your doctor. And,
no, we're not.
I don't want this video to get taken down.
This is a theoretical practice for educational and entertainment purposes only. We do not diagnose, treat, or prescribe anything.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I gotta say that every time. But like, so like, yeah, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder what the hell she was doing, or like, I don't know. It's just like, it's bizarre to me. You know what I mean? Like,
maybe she kept it hidden, and she had already had it once and didn't tell anybody, and it might have come back.
That's what I thought
know.
that maybe that's why she lost her hair, because like, like she, I saw videos of her, or I have a picture of her. Her mom sent me. I told you, I don't know if you guys were listening earlier. Like, her mom told, when she died, I did that GoFundMe for her mom, and like I kind of got, I got to know her mom really well, and her mom told me that like she was like a model for like, it was either Russell Simmons or Damon Dash, like back in the day, like, like in the African American community, and she was beautiful. Like, she was like, like I didn't think she was still beautiful, but she was really like, and I thought that was amazing that she did that, and I just don't know what happened. I don't know when
she was very attractive, and she wore the scarves and things, but I need to go back and look at those now to see if she was even wearing a wig then.
Yeah.
She could have been, and we just didn't know because we didn't know she could have had a pre-existing condition. We don't know.
Yeah, and she would never tell anybody.
Anybody ever is going to tell us, because sometimes people keep that stuff hidden. They don't want you to feel sorry for them, and add energy to it. So,
and then this is another good question.
I might be able to tell she was wearing a wig. I can go back and look at those videos.
Yeah, and this is another good question. Do you think a lot of experience? I'd love to hear you guys both think. Do you guys think a lot of experiencers get this because if they're being exposed to alien contact or government MyLabs? Like, do you think they're being exposed to like a lot of amounts of radiation, especially in Ranetta's case? She seemed like she had some kind of cybernetics in her body. So like, would that mean that she was exposed to large amounts of radiation, which could have caused the cancer? I'd love to hear what you guys both think about that.
Yeah, look, this is a very nuanced topic. The secret space programs is not for the faint of heart. Look, this is extremely nuanced. Yeah, there's radiation when you go up, but there's so many other factors that go into what affects our health. There's countless factors. Radiation is one of them, but I would say that's kind of one of the smaller ones. I've heard some people saying because James was surrounded by so many people with nanotech in them, that was affecting his health.
Yeah.
I'm sure the stress was getting to him. I'm sure there was an underlying condition. I'm sure there were energy weapons involved as well, all combined at once. But this is a very nuanced thing, and we cannot make conclusions when we don't really know.
Absolutely, yeah. I just want to like get like an idea. You know what I mean? Like it's like I'm trying to. Yeah, it's interesting. What do you think, Missy?
Yeah, I don't know. And also, James lived in Charlotte. You know what else is in Charlotte too is they're finding those lithium mines that what is the name of that place that was connected to all that stuff that happened with Helene? I can't think of the name of it now, but the place where they make those lithium batteries, and how Camel Toe's husband
Camel Toe, that's hilarious.
Is invested in that stuff, and that is in Charlotte. So James was around that. There's a lot of EMF type of geopathic stress in big cities, and James loved horticulture. That's what he really loved. He loved to be around flowers and plants and knew a lot about that kind of stuff. And, I don't know. I think it's all the above. I think it's, everything that comes with SSP that I'm just beginning to learn stuff about. I mean, somebody that would know about having stuff in their body would be Whitley Strieber. I mean, he's talked about having all that.
I'm trying to get him
plants and all that stuff in his body for a long time.
I just followed him on Substack. I've been listening to Whitley Strieber since I was a kid. Like, since I used to listen to Art Bell back in 2001. Like I was always such a big fan of Whitley Strieber, and like I've reached out to him multiple times, and he's never got back to me. He's never even responded once. And I'm like, man, like why would you? I don't know. Like, I think I have a big enough platform for him to come on, like, I think he would be well received, he, for whatever reason, he won't, I don't know, I don't know what is.
I don't know. I think he spends a lot of time just channeling, his wife that passed, Anne, he's like in that world of connecting with her all the time, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably not even personal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, I'm going to move on. I'm going to let other people calling, but like, do you guys want to give a shout out with anybody before we go? Andrew, do you want to shout out anything, or do you want to tell people where they can follow you and stuff in the new Super Soldier website?
Oh yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, we just started the channel. It'll grow on its own. It'll take some time, but Super Soldier Talk 2 on YouTube. And I want to give a big shout out to the modern day art bell, Mr. Robert Khalil. Love you, man. You're awesome.
Thanks, man. That's awesome.
Yes.
Thanks,
I sent
man.
you a picture of that alien, Rob. Did you get? I wanted to show you that good picture of Carvel the alien with his Mardi Gras beads on. So I'm seeing that picture.
That's I got to check that out. Yeah, I know you texted it to me. I'll check that out. Yeah, and Missy, do you want to give a shout out before we? Do you want to tell them where they can follow you?
Yeah, I'll give you a shout out because I'm going to be in that. I'm going to be in that Summer Days conference Saturday, June 13th. That's being put on by Gina Virginia Casella, and Anchor Haven's going to be there, and Slogans, a bunch of your people. I can't even remember exactly who's on the list, but the best way you can find me, I'm trying to get stuff on my YouTube and all that, but just the best way is, you'll see me on Facebook, but just email me, Hill, Hill, Night, N-I-T-E, Vision, V-I-S-I-O-N, at gmail.com, hillnightvision at gmail.com, and all. I'm sure I'll be on again soon.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And Andrew, we got to get you a show here soon if you want to come back on, I'd love to have you back on,
Oh yeah, man, for sure. I've got a lot to say. I'm just still kind of dealing with. I feel like this Oblivion programming, all this stuff being thrown my way. I'm really being fucking targeted. I'm trying to get my stuff together before I can present myself. I also want to mention, since you asked for the shout out, Misha could use some donations. Her cancer returned from remission. This is Misha Johnson, the OG of Secret Space Program Disclosure. You can just find her on Facebook or find her on YouTube. You should be able to find her donation link. If anybody wants to help out the OG of SSP Disclosure, Misha Johnson, she could use a little help right now.
Yeah, Michelle put that together, and then she asked me, she said, can I put your name on it? I said, yeah, like I said, and then I helped share it. So it's also, the link's on my Facebook too, guys. I forgot. And all right, I'll let you guys go now. And, that's one thing. And by the way, guys, that was Andrew from Super Soldier Talk 2. Like, Andrew's doing the new Super Soldier Talk. He's a great person. Follow Andrew, and he's awesome. And that was the great Missy Hill too. Missy comes on all the time, and they're just both wonderful people. Like, I don't have anything but nothing but good stuff to say about Andrew and Missy. I like both of them a lot. And Andrew was really nice, giving a shout out to Misha. Like, Michelle put that GoFundMe together, Black Feather in the Wind. And then she asked me, she said, would you mind putting your name on it too? And I said, sure. I said, and then I shared it out on my Facebook. So if you follow me on Facebook, the link's also on my Facebook if you want to support Misha. And like, definitely, it's bad. I guess, I don't know how bad her cancer is. I don't know, the whole extent of it. It's just, she has liver cancer. It's scary, like when we get older, like all these threats of fucking cancer, and like, everything's so crazy. Cause like what they're doing about, the chemtrails in the sky and the food and water. It's like we're getting literally hit from every direction. And I know we talk about this a lot, but it's absolutely true. You know what I mean? You have to really, watch everything you do, and, I'm an example of that, I don't know. Cause I might be paying for something that, I don't know what's going on with this. You want me to have a colonoscopy, and I don't want to do it. I really don't want to do it. I don't feel bad at all. I don't have any symptoms, knock on wood, but you never know, so I got to figure out the fuck I'm going to do with that. I know like Sill's in the audience. She said I shouldn't get it. Oksana said I shouldn't get it. So many people are like, I would not let them put a camera up your butt or whatever they're going to do. Because who knows? I mean, look what happened to James and Rainetta. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm skeptical of everything, honestly, in my life. Like, I'm skeptical of everything. Like, Otter Harchian says, don't eat McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's, but no, definitely I wouldn't eat McDonald's. Anybody, if you're and he also says, don't use tinfoil on your baking. That's true. Yeah. Why do you say that, Otter Harchian? Why do you say don't use tinfoil on your baking? If you want to call in, you can call in. It's 573-877-7637. I'd like to stay on a little bit longer and take a few more calls. I like to spread it out and get a lot of the different people to call in. And, let me see here. Let's take a couple more calls. He also says, don't drink soda cans, better to drink from a glass. Tommy says, hi, Rob from Melbourne, Australia. Hello, Tommy. Open it up. And Chloe says, Alzheimer's. Yeah, that's a big thing. That was one thing that we've all been talking about. A lot of people are not have Alzheimer's, but a lot of people are losing their memory. Like, that's one thing about me. I can't remember like 2 days ago. You know what I mean? It's just like totally like, like kind of blank. Like I have to really start thinking back to like, like, I don't know. It's crazy. I gotta, and I take supplements to help that stuff too. Well, what do we do? What do we do? And James Whitkus is in the house. He says, get rid of your microwave oven. It destroys all food value. I would agree with that. You guys know that story of that time they tried to blow my house up, right? Or whatever they tried to catch a fire. Like I came down to make coffee at 5 a.m. and the microwave fuse, it was like short circuited. And I didn't think to go turn the power off. Now I know to like go hit the power switch off, but like the whole wall was heating up because it was wired inside the wall. It was crazy. It was like, yeah. We've been going about 2 hours. Let me see here. We'll give it a few more minutes, see if anybody else wants to call in. If nobody else calls in, maybe we'll call it a night. I don't know. But, yeah, so I'm trying to think of what else. If anybody else would like to call in now, or maybe I'll just end it now. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of what to do. What is this? Puck Elf says, this is an interesting comment. Puck Elf says, my walk helmet can do all things. Reflect light to make a fire, boil the water, cook the food, protect my head, and I can throw it at people like Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. A walk helmet. I got to see that. And he says, oh, it's a shield too. That's interesting. I don't know. Anyway, I'm trying to think. I'm thinking out. Yeah. Maybe we'll just call it a night here, guys. Yeah, because I'd like to. It's 11 o'clock. I want to go smoke a joint. I can't smoke inside my apartment. So yeah, I'll see. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna call it a night, and I'm gonna drop the line now. So why is it saying to do that? Okay, wait, drop. How do I do that? Okay, drop call. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. I don't know who's on schedule tomorrow. Some new girl is on tomorrow about like an SSP experience, a new SSP experience. Or I guess she was on Jeff Mara podcast, so that should be interesting. So we have a new SSP experiencer tomorrow, and that'll be like 6 p.m. Eastern. And and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. And have a good night, everybody. And thanks, guys. And